In the early hours of a cold morning, a powerful explosion echoed across the front lines of Zaporizhzhia. For weeks, rumors had been spreading that Ukraine was preparing something big. And now, the moment had finally arrived. Columns of armored vehicles rolled forward under the cover of fog. Drones hovered silently above, transmitting live coordinates to Ukrainian command posts. Within minutes, the battlefield came alive. Artillery shells raining down, communication towers collapsing, and Russian defense lines cracking under pressure. This was not a random strike. It was a well-planned counteroffensive. Ukrainian forces had studied Russian positions for weeks. Every bunker, every fuel depot, every weak spot. When the assault began, precision missile strikes hit one target after another, creating total confusion among Russian troops. Eyewitnesses on the ground described scenes of chaos, tanks burning, soldiers running for cover, and entire units losing contact with their command. The Ukrainian strategy was clear: destroy communication, cut supply lines, and move fast before Russia could regroup. For many months, Zaporizhzhia had been seen as one of Russia's strongest fronts, heavily fortified and nearly impossible to break. But now those defenses were crumbling. Ukrainian units pushed deeper into enemy territory, reclaiming villages that had been lost months ago. The blue and yellow flag once again waved over checkpoints that had been under Russian control. Morale among Ukrainian soldiers was at its highest point in months. Every kilometer gained felt like a victory for the entire nation. And as the battle raged on, Ukraine's message to the world was clear: they were not giving up. By midday, the impact of the assault had reached Moscow. Reports from the front were chaotic and unclear. Several Russian commanders were missing in action. Supply convoys had been destroyed. Communication systems were down. The Russian defense machine, once known for its strength, was now struggling to stay organized. Satellite images showed thick columns of smoke rising from Russian bases. Intercepted radio signals revealed panic among troops, many calling for urgent evacuation. Ukrainian artillery kept up the pressure, targeting any vehicle that tried to move. Drones hunted from above, marking every hidden bunker. Analysts around the world began to say, what few had dared to before, that Zaporizhzhia could become the turning point of this war. Ukraine was not only defending anymore, it was striking back, reclaiming control with strategy, precision, and determination. Western observers praised Ukraine's new style of warfare: faster, smarter, and more flexible. Using technology, real-time intelligence, and local resistance networks, Ukraine managed to outmaneuver an army far larger than its own. But this victory came at a cost. The battlefield was covered with wreckage, tanks reduced to ash, trenches filled with silence, and the sound of distant artillery echoing through the night. As darkness fell over Zaporizhzhia, Ukrainian soldiers stood on newly captured ground, exhausted but proud. For them, this wasn't just another battle. It was a message that no matter how strong the enemy seemed, courage and unity could still rewrite the story of war. Across the world, headlines began to appear. Ukraine breaks Russia in Zaporizhzhia. And while the war was far from over, this moment proved one thing: the tide was turning, and Ukraine was leading the change.